Hey everybody, welcome to Tony's Electric Builds. Lots of different crazy little things you can do. I got asked to do a simple project for under $20, so a light bulb. You can pick this up on wish.com. The actual kit is free. You just have to pay $2 shipping. It comes with the parts you need. Sorry for the filming. My cameras for some reason are on the blink, so I'm actually having to do this on my phone. You'll come with a piece for your LEDs to go onto, your light socket piece, your LEDs, and your hardware, which will include your board, your transistor, capacitors, your resistors, a couple little wires that you'll need to connect things together, and we'll just jump right in here and get going on it. Just dump out your LEDs as always. Make sure you got a little button battery handy to be able to go through and test your LEDs to make sure they're all working properly. Nothing's more annoying than getting a project completely done and you've got an LED not working. I'm not gonna go through that whole thing. It's helpful to have little tools like this. This is a resistor tester. I made this project myself. We'll want to test the resistors that it come with, because a lot of times these cheap kits, unfortunately, aren't the best. And if it does come with some bad resistors, just make sure you've got some that you can replace it with. That tests at 980, which is fine. We need two to test at close to and around that. That test at 101. And that test at 946. So yeah, apparently this resistor is actually not good, but since it's a cheap build, I don't really care. I'm just gonna use it anyway. Normally I'd replace it and put a good one in there. As usual, we want to start with our lowest component, which are the resistors. So we'll put the resistors in their designated little spots. And those are marked by R1, 2, and 3. batteries I tested a while ago, one came out and was 100. There's a spot on R3 that's a spot for 100. And of course, we'll take our soldering iron, and we'll solder those into place. Once those are soldered in, clip off your excess wire. Then we'll move to the next lowest down, which will be these. And there's a marking on here. These are 407s. Match the silver end to where you can see has a line there. So make sure you just put those, match the picture up basically. And remember, when you're using a soldering iron, make sure you are in a well ventilated area. You don't want to be breathing the fumes. I normally have my vacuum on, but the vacuum makes a lot of noise, and since I'm having to use my cell phone for this, I wanted y'all to still actually be able to hear. It's about a time for a new tip for my iron. And sometimes it's, if you're new at soldering, it's okay to get you a little dab on there and then clip off your excess. And then go back and take your solder, and you can actually clean up the weld a little bit by just going back around it, because you have a little more room since that excess is gone, and you see how it's actually melting and making it a nicer looking solder. And then of course the next biggest would be the capacitor. Remember, the longer end is always positive, and it's marked on there. You'll want to push those in there, and as you can see how it's like this, that means you want to lay it down. So kind of put it in and lay it so it's bent over and lay down. Be careful when clipping those. As you can tell, they do go flying. Typically when you have a line like this, you'll see another little line here. Normally that means you need to put a jumper in, but if you look on the back on this, you can see that it's jumped to the same area, so there's no actual need to have to put a jumper in this instance. But that's not the case for all of them. As you build more and learn more, you'll be able to look at that and know whether or not you do actually need the jumper or not. Now that actually completes the little board that we are going to use for the actual bulb. Then you want to start putting in your LEDs into the board. For it's easiest probably to start on the inside or the outside, whichever one you prefer, doing a few at a time. And the LEDs that it came with are just cheap little LEDs. If you have a stock of LEDs, you can do different ones, which I've actually done on one. Get a few on there and get your solder in on them. Like I said, my tip is getting where it needs to be replaced. So you get these few soldered on. Get your leads out of the way. I do that so that way now it's easier for you to get to the others. Little things wiggling around on me. And you'll want to go through and do that. Put all your LEDs in. Once you get all your LEDs in, you'll want to, well, I'll get back with you. Let me throw all these LEDs in and I'll get back.